Hello, everyone. Welcome to your lovely favorite podcast show, Finance, Media, and Lifestyle, a show where we help SMEs and entrepreneurs get strategies to increase and elevate their business.
Yeah, of course, definitely. They know this is what we do. They know this is where we'll have conversation like this for SME brands, to see how, because the thing is we need to continue to have conversation about SME companies. We need to continue to have conversation about the small, because they are the engine rooms that drives the market. They are the engine room that drive a nation's economy. Okay. And of course, they know that's what this program is all about. They know that's what we do.
So that's it. And now we're talking about the structures to put in place.
Okay.
For SMEs.
Yeah, basically, right now we're going to be looking at structures for SME brands. Like how do SME brands get structure so as for them to be able to gain opportunities in the market space? Like, where do you begin to turn your hustle from hustle to a proper production outlet, like a proper SME brand that you can say, okay, I want to turn my hustle to an SME brand. Like, I think, okay, fine, I've been doing this thing for quite a while, but right now I want to position myself and I want to position my business so as I'll be able to gain opportunities that are out there.
Like turning your hustle to structure.
Exactly.
And making sure that you have a firm stance in the market.
Exactly.
And having a firm stance in the market for your customers to be able to get whatever product you want, the market availability for you. And also, in doing these things, it's very important for SMEs to know that they need to rebrand themselves. What is the vision, the mission, and what is the vision and the mission attached to the business? Most SMEs don't get to put these things in place, putting the mission and the vision of the business in place for them to propel a good opportunity space for themselves.
Okay, so in other words, that means that if you want to start, like you want to create that structure, okay? You want to create that structure. What you're literally saying that there needs to be branding.
Yeah, there needs to be branding. You need to rebrand. You need to rebrand yourself. You need to make yourself reshape it. What is the goal? What is the goal behind this? What is the vision behind this?
What's the vision? What's the goal?
What is the mission attached to it? The mission is something that keeps rekindling your fire. You don't let the fire burn out. The fire needs to be there to keep the consistency at pace, to keep everything working just the way you want it to work until it gets to success.
Exactly, because I think there's another thing we need to understand. Before you go into a business, all right, you already have an idea of that business. Okay, you already have a concept that you feel like, okay, this is the business I want to do. So let's take Paraventure. Before I went into media, okay, I already know, okay, I want to go into media. This is what I want to do in media. And if I want to go into media, if I want to invest into media, what are the visions that you have for that particular business? If you're growing like a media business scale, then if you have, let me say, you're trying to build your own business, you're trying to grow your own business in no matter the industry that you are right now, you have to have a vision and you have to have a mission. That's one thing that first of all differentiates you from like every other hustler out there, because that's where your structuring starts. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Where your structuring starts from. When you rebrand yourself, you restructure yourself out, and you rebrand your product. And when you rebrand your product, not only that one as well, you need to check about the operational aspect of it all. We talk about the cash management, we talk about the CRM, we talk about the customer behavior, we talk about how do you manage the day in and day out of your cash flows. So, putting all these things together is very, very important in structuring in having a rightful structure for your business.
Yeah, that's true. But, sometimes the average man out there and this is why sometimes it looks so troublesome for the average man, because if it's like, where do I start putting my CRM together? Where do I start doing this? Where do I start doing that? And this thing is easy. Okay. Before we started, we said when you want to grow as an SME brand, first of all, you have to have a vision. Okay. You have to have a vision. You have to have a mission. Mission in the sense that what are your targets now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What are your targets now? What are the things you want to pursue now? And vision in the sense that how do I want to metamorphose from where I am right now to where I will be in the next 10 years?
Yeah.
To where I will be in the next 15 years.
Yes.
Okay. So this business is yours. Nobody can help you to dream this dream. Only you can dream this dream yourself. So that is where understanding your business comes into place. It is very, very, very important for you to understand your business. It is very, very important for you to know the business that you want to go into, because now you are looking at developing from not just a normal hustler out there. You're looking at developing into a brand, into an SME company. You're trying to put a structure to your business. That's what we're trying to do right now. So in other words, what we would do right now is understanding the business. When you understand your business to an extent, to a large extent, now you can put in your vision and you can put in your mission. Your mission being your short-term goals and your vision being long-term goals. Okay? And when these things are clear for you, you can now say, okay, this is clear. This is how I want to go about it. Then we can now bring in these operations that you're talking about. But my question here is this.
Okay.
How difficult can it be for you to align your vision and your mission? How difficult can that be if peradventure looking into brand? Because some people say, I don't want to even go into branding before we do the logos, before we do this, before we do that. And man, I'm just okay. And they will not want to take that next step, thinking that it is just it's one hell of a work.
Aligning your vision with your mission, it has to do with, like you said at first, is understanding the business. Because when you're able to align your mission with your vision, which is branding, you get to create a space for your business. You get to create an opportunity space for your business to grow. So when you know how to align your vision with your mission, so you that creates a leverage for your business growth, and moves you from hustle to structure. When you move from hustle to structure, that's putting you on the stability of what financial income streams.
Exactly.
You get it? So being able to move from where you were to a greater height of where you're going, it has to do with a lot of discipline. Do you get my point? So you have to be disciplined. You're aligning your vision with your mission. You're disciplined, and your operational goals, your operational management is important. You need to know how to manage your operational structure.
But now, operation can be one. The reason why I didn't want us to rush this is because operation can be a very, very, it's big. I think that is where structuring the business really comes into play.
Yeah,
it's
very, very, it's broad.
It's very, very broad, like very, very broad. But you can't do it all at once, but you can start.
Yeah, you can't do it all at once, but when you look at these top companies, for example, now there's a structure they put in place that makes their business go in line. They have who they owe, from the very onset of this, you need to have who you owe accountable for every decision, every policy you take, every structures, every policy. There need to be someone in place to be held accountable for that. So when these things default, you get to hold the person accountable in order to be able to recuperate your legs, your steps, and ensure that these steps that are probably mistaken are traced back and easily corrected.
Operational in the sense that what benefits do they stand? Like, in what scenarios you put in operations to full capacity to work? Like, in what full capacity does it really tend to benefit the SME brand? Because SME's brand sometimes feels like, oh, this thing is a whole lot of work for me. where do I even start? Where do I even start to go about these things? And that can sometimes, sometimes discourage SME companies or people that want to structure their companies into SME companies and stuff like that. Sometimes it do discourage them, and you would agree with me. Maybe sometimes they feel like, oh, okay, the work is just too much. Where do I start from? And we're talking about a lot of people that will really want to structure their stuff into this SME streamline. This I want to structure it. I really want to put a structure to it, but they just don't know how to go about operations.
Yeah, you see, the operations, first thing you need to understand about operation is that your cash flow management is important. The way you manage your cash is very important. Your customer behavior is important, and your CRM is also important. Your cash flow is important because of the daily operations you spend every day. In order to get the business running, you have to spend. So your customer behavior, your product, and your services. How do you intend to develop these skills? Is it using or through technological advancement, or through turning the services of your turning your services to digital product? Things like that can go on, whereby services that can be given in the physical can also be shared upon in digital product way. So in doing these things, it brings in like a quick growth, making an SME move from stagnation to elevation.
But they tend to lose most of these opportunities out there, because by the time they are applying for these opportunities, sometimes they ask them, okay, what structure do you have in place? They can't really present a structure. And we all know that when you're structuring a company, the operations department is extremely important. Is so extremely important. And it is in this operation department right now that most people always say, oh, okay, you know what? I'm not really game for this right now, because of course they have their vision, of course they have their mission. It seems clear to them. They work around to get their logo. But right now, putting in that paperwork, putting in that documentation is a big problem to them.
Putting them down in paper, you're saying that for someone someone might be stressed, might say, I don't have this all time.
Exactly.
So how do you intend to be able to hold someone accountable if you don't have the whole time of putting these things down? So you need to have the whole time of putting them down, because these are part of the structures. Like, if you're even going to talk about, not every company CEOs are fully in charge of the operations, but they know how it goes so that they can hold whoever is in charge accountable. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So when these structures are put in place, structural policies are put in place for SMEs to grow, or any business to grow, you get to put people. If you say you don't have, for big businesses that say, okay, we are too many, but for as an SME or an entrepreneur growing, you should have the time, because it's your business, it's your idea. So I see no reason why you wouldn't have your time for your business, for what you create. I see no reason why you wouldn't want to create a space to grow what you have.
Just like what you rightly said, it's your business. If you don't put it straightforward, nobody will do it for you.
No one will do it for you.
Okay, but like initially we were talking about getting your CRM right. We were talking about your HRO right. And you can be saying, oh, okay, CRM, where do I want to try start following up on CRM? But the truth is, you need to follow up on your customers. You need to follow up on, create a relationship with them. And you also need to look at prospects of how you can make new customers. And this is where your CRM comes into place. And the truth there is this: you can, if depending on what you have in your store, depending on the vision, depending on the strategy that you're putting in place for your business, these things are things that you can do, because it's all about documentation. That is what operations is all about. Just like what you rightly said, it's all about documentation, to be able to, like, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is what my business is also doing. Like, this is the proof here that my business can actually handle something like this. So it will be crazy if SMEs are not really taking their operations extremely serious, as much as they should.
Yeah, it will be. In fact, it will be very, very. It can put the business in it can make the business be at pearl, because your business needs to be well documented.
Yeah.
When you have these documentations, right, it gives you the right when you have them rightfully in place, it gives you the right to be able to even come and fight against any illegality that may want to come against your business. You get it right. So it's very important to have this documentation in place to keep the structures well placed and in a very good way.
You need to be able to make sure that you have the right set of people around you in your operations, those set of people that truly understand what your business is all about. If you have those set of people that you feel like, okay, they don't have, you train. You can as well train people, giving them those opportunities, and in return, those people bring back value to you, so as your operation will be very solid. People that really know what is going on in operations, okay? Because you yourself, you know what you're doing. So you need people that will be able to also support you as well to push your brand forward. So yeah, we're still talking about building structure around SME brands. We'll be taking a quick break right now. When we come back, we'll be talking about visibility, how you can give visibility in the market space. Stay. All right, so you're welcome back, and it's been a very, very, very calm and cool conversation, and a very, very interesting one so far that we've been having. And if you're just joining us, or you've come back, and so we can do a very quick recap. We'll be talking about putting a structure on SME brands, okay? And we've been looking at, we've talked about branding and how important it is. We've talked about adding operations, getting to train your staff and everything. And we've talked about putting operations on your business. And we did say when we come back from the break, we're going to be talking about visibility in business. So one can't explain how much visibility for business is so important, especially for SME brands. Like, it's so important.
Visibility is very important in things you do, because you can't just assume that you're the only one doing this thing. Even if you're the only one doing it, you need to put it out there to let the people know. Knowledge is power, they say. So people needs to know what you're doing. So you have to make yourself visible as an SME, as an entrepreneur. Whatsoever thing you do, you just have to make yourself visible. Spend money on branding, spend money on advertisement, putting yourself out there for the people to see you.
I know it's very, very crucial. It's very, very important for you to put your business out there. And there are a lot of opportunities we can capitalize on when we're putting our business out there. We have the social media platforms. There are so social media platforms, like different apps is coming out every day, and now different social platforms. We have Twitter, we have Instagram, we have TikTok. You can use these opportunities, take advantage of them to put your visibility out there on your business and stuff.
Yeah,
and get visibility by it.
Yeah, and just as you said, this social media platform, it made me remember, just take yourself like a fashion designer who is coming up, and you've been able to build a loyal fan base on, let me say, your Instagram, and then this fan base is the people that knows your product. Regardless how it is, you still need to put out your product out there to other social platforms so that this fan base as well can multiply, and you don't have yourself in a stagnant position. Being visible out there takes you away and elevates you away from stagnancy. Putting yourself out there, making sure that you're out there visible to the people are able to see you, your people knows what you're doing and they can contact you. It's very important to the growth of your business,
because it actually opens opportunity for networking. When you're visible, it creates avenue for you to be able to network with other industry or your fellow industry people. You understand? You'll be able to know what is going on in your industry, because
of course,
if you remember from the last episode, we talked about opportunities and how you can open yourself for opportunities, and we talked about gatekeepers. We talked about how you can link up with one another. So when you're visible, when you put your product out there, it can cause for massive shift in terms of link up, in terms of networking with the right set of people that also understand your industry, and that can give you one or two tips, that you can use, and it can be very, very useful.
Well, yeah, I want to giving you some things that you just need at the right time, so that when you put these things in place, it gets into work for your business or for your business to grow. And one thing SMEs and entrepreneurs need to put to also know is that being visible means to be present. You know, you have to be there. You don't have to just shut down any kind of gathering, and you need to know where you take your market to, the gatherings you take your market to, the gatherings you explore when going into the market. Your niche, your own market availability niche is important in growing your business.
Exactly.
Because when you go there, you meet people, like you said, you create a greater broad chance for this working. You get to, elevate your business sales
by meeting people.
Yeah,
Definitely,
by
because
meeting people, and then
at the end of the day, that is the goal. At the end of the day, that's the goal. That's the goal to elevate your sales, to push your brand out there the more. And talking about networking, through networking, it is also important to understand that you're chasing a B2B businesses. So you have to be able to be open for partnership as well. Because when you open for partnership, it's also help your business to grow, because one man cannot do it all. So this gives you an avenue to be able to understand other industry and how where those industry can work side by side with your business. Now, all those things we are just talking about right now, it's a structure. You can't do this one before the other one. Neither can you do the other one before
the
this
other
one.
one. So
it's a structure thing. So you want to brand, you have to look into branding properly. You have to look into your vision. You have to streamline it to understand, okay, this is where I'm going to. Then when you feel like, okay, I think I have a proper structure, you have to look into the operations, which we've talked about. Then you look into, okay, I think I have this operation. Then you push into visibility. Try to put yourself out there. Network with the right set of people. And when you see you'll be able to network with those set of people that you feel like, okay, I think these people match my interest and I match their interest, then why not? You open for partnership. You open for partnership. You open for how you can work side by side with other people and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, it's a global market. You cannot always do it all as an SME. And I believe that is the dream of every SME, is to be able to have partnership that will be able to push their business forward.
Because when they have this kind of partnership, this partnership is putting out their idea. The idea you have, you want to put it out on what you want to put it out for the world to see, so that it can have a greater sales. Because you want your idea to be out there. You want your opinion to be heard. That's what you want as an SME business, while you're also making the racks of funds you want.
Then another thing again, it's okay. I want us to touch on three things. Okay, finance growth for SMEs. Okay, finance growth for SMEs, reputation for SMEs, because these are the things that these are part is branding, but they are the things that made your commodity, that makes your company to be more, that stands out your company. So, okay, this company has also reputation. This company, okay, it can meet up its yearly quota of sales or stuff like that. So we're going to touch on all those aspects when we come back from this short break. You're welcome back. Thank you so much for still staying, like I said. So you see, I told you we'll be right back. Just have to go and take a bit of a breather. You know, sometimes these things are
that's
needed.
very important.
These things are needed.
Yeah.
So before we went on a short break, we'll talk about feasibility. Okay, and I said I want us to look into finance growth of SME, because I know most SMEs, that's what they really want to know. Okay, how do I grow from making 50,000, 100,000 to 300 to 400 to 500 to 1,000,000 to, and so forth and so on. So they want to know, okay, how do I do this? How do we move forward from here? Okay, then so how do you think, like, trying to structure their finance growth in their business? Because you know most SMEs do put their money into their business.
When it comes to talking about structuring your finance growth, um, you need to understand that, like I said, your cash management is important. How do you manage your cash flow? And as an SME, you need to also put in place transparent structures. This is talking about money here. Well, transparent structures that shows the movement of cash day in and day out. And you know, in growing your finance as well, you can talk about the credit the credit eligibility the business can have as an SME, of course. With this open new tax that's going to be put in place, you're going to have some credit for eligibility, and verifiability for you to be able to or to get more access to funds. And when you have access to funds, I think you and I have had this conversation that debt is not bad. It is when you take a debt that you're meant to use to grow things and you consume it. That's when it becomes perilous to you.
Exactly.
So if you want to grow your finance, if you want to grow your streams of income, you need more money to make more money. So as you've have more money now in your finance way, structures you put in place, making sure that what the day-to-day movement of your cash is transparent, structures you put in place, ensuring that you have cost savings, structures you put in place, ensuring that what each cost you spend aligns with every revenue that are to come into place. You get so it's not cost wasted. Either the costs are going for revenue, the revenue could be in terms of learning. You train your employees, which is very important as well. You put money into research and development, and then you try to work out on areas that matters that can grow
Okay.
the business.
Now, all those things you said now, right? It's good. Okay. It's massive. But here's the thing. With all this thing, trying to put this one in place, trying to put the other one in place. Now you see, most SMEs tends to use their personal funds. Okay. Use their personal fund, and we don't really know what is personal fund and what is business
Yeah,
fund.
it's most of them will use their personal funds because this is part of their capital.
Yeah, but don't you think that taking your personal funds away from a business fund, so as to be able to monitor, to know, okay, how am I growing in this business? Okay, rather than both your personal funds and the business funds are together, and you really can't separate which from which.
In accounting we have in accounting when you're doing a cash flow, I say cash when you're doing cash book, not cash flow now, cash book. We have there's a place in the description that can say that the owner of the business took a personal drawings. We call some things personal drawings, and we call some drawings for the what?
Yeah, I
For the
know,
purpose of the
is
business.
that
Yeah,
supposed to
yeah.
be on a continuation and on a
No,
perpetual?
you need to have an account for it, because you need to have a separate account for your personal, for your business and for yourself. Your business is a different entity away from who you are. Your business is not, your business is a different entity away from yourself. So your business is operating on its own. You have to operate on your own.
And these are the things that SMEs need to put in place. Okay, like you need to know that, okay, fine, your personal fund and your business funds, they are two separate things.
And
And you don't need
if I wouldn't want to cut you there, while we talk about finance and growth, we also, it's finance and growth now. This is just an aspect in structures and SMEs can put in place to create opportunities. Do you get my point? Also, a structure you can also put in place is structure of good reputation and trustworthiness amidst the society. Most SMEs tend to forget about the external force environment of business. The external force environment of business, talking about what? Your society. The society where you want to do business matters. So what kind of reputation is your business bringing to that society? What are they seeing your business as? So as an SME person, as an entrepreneur, whenever you want to do these things, these are things you have to consider. I feel
Yeah,
you're
like
getting
it's
my
so
point.
important. Like for me, I think a reputation for me is key, because from all our previous episodes I've always talked about accountability and all, and I've always believed that reputation and accountability, they all go hand to hand. So So definitely when you start creating your business, creating your brand, you need to know that you have to attach a massive reputation to it, because literally when we're talking about opportunities, we're talking about meeting new people. These are some of the little opportunities that you leave here and there, because when your business have a great deal of reputation, that's a big commodity already, currency you already have. That's a big currency you
Yeah,
already have in
that's
terms
a
of
big one.
making your structure solidified, in terms of putting a proper
Of
structure to your
course.
company.
Yeah.
So reputation, it's and truth,
You
like
know, reputation is one thing that the big people in the universe don't joke with, because they understand the power of reputation. They know the power of a name. They know that, okay, if the reputation of this, there are places that the name of businesses, when you hear names like the names of Dangote, you get to know that, okay, I have to just give this name the respect. You know, when Otedola was broke, it was his reputation was part of what raised him back to where he is. Because it's not only money, it's not only his idea. He has people that trusted in him, that looked at his character.
But was Otodola ever really broke?
There was a time that he almost ran out of what?
But
He almost ran out of
would you call
business.
that broke? Like broke, like
We wouldn't call that broke though,
exactly, because you can like
but you can also call it broke, bro, because there are some levels in this life that once you've lived above them, you've lived above them.
that's true.
You don't even want to go back to them anymore.
Exactly.
So you've lived above someone who is racking, that you've been able to make a million,
Yeah.
a million you've made a 10 million,
Yeah.
a 10 million you've made 100 million. You don't want to go back to that 10 million.
Exactly.
So either you going toward hundreds,
I totally
you know,
do understand. I
the
wouldn't
billion,
want
and just be on that path.
yes,
So
exactly. I
so
totally
as you are, there are some level that where you are, you just feel like, oh gosh,
Yeah.
is you
Yeah,
classify yourself as being broke.
yeah. Like you declare bankruptcy, right? Sometimes.
So yeah, like like we're saying, the reputation. It took this big man. They don't joke with the name. Good name is something they don't joke with, because goodwill is something that they can only place it on value. It can't even be bought actually. You can only just place it on the value. And these are things when people want to acquire businesses, turn into mergers and acquisitions. These are things they look at. These are the part of the synergies they look at in what? In merging or acquiring companies. You look at the goodwill that company has made. A company could be having a very good net asset, could be having a very good free cash flow analysis policy, but that company's goodwill can destroy that company from getting a great gig. When you don't have a good reputation having you in cases of fraud, nobody even wants to what? Nobody wants to deal with you.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to deal with
you
you
just
because
made mention of like a good reputation. It's because when you said initially, when you said when the company has goodwill, it can destroy. I was like, goodwill or bad, or do you understand? But now you just made mention, because good name is really massive when creating a business.
a good name is massive.
Like making sure that you protect that name, making sure that your word is your bond in business. It's key. It's one big aspect that can actually propel your business forward. Then another thing again you need to understand, for me, I feel like another thing, if you want to stay in the game as an SME, okay, and then expand further, you need to have innovations. You need to think, you need to expand.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to think about expansion, but these are on stages. You are not just kicking off and then you're saying, okay, you want to start expanding.
Of course, you need to be proactive.
You need, exactly. But you need to understand that, okay, those visions that you have for the companies, you are going to pursue it. And when opportunities comes for you to pursue, you have to pursue.
Yeah, when opportunities show up for you to pursue, you need to follow up. You need to grab them, because putting structures in place for your business to be able to get what opportunities created, or opportunities they want. It also deals with how you can move your business from stagnancy to elevation. Some people just feel like some people just feel like, okay, I have to push this structure. There's a kind of a change you apply to your consistent doings that elevates your business. That change was not applied before, has kept that business stagnant. Imagine a fashion designer, like I said, or a baker who just only focuses on selling out on Instagram alone. Doesn't focus on other social media platforms, or doesn't utilize his other social media platforms. How do you intend to create more numbers of customers? How do you intend to rack the numbers and sell out the people? Because the figures is what makes up your account. The narration to the figures is what makes you lively, because that's what makes you a business person.
Exactly.
So putting these things in place is very key, and they are very, very imperative. So you know, as a personal, as a person, as an SME and as an entrepreneur, you need to understand that uh growing your business, you know, putting your business from stagnancy to elevation is important for you to do, so that it propels a good structures that has been placed on ground for a business to grow.
So I hope we're reaching out to you right now, because she actually said, "Oh, please, I want you guys to talk about structure for SMEs." So that's what we're doing right now. So following this, like we rightly said, this is a stages stuff, right? So, but you have to know, okay, this is where I am right now. I'm taking this serious. I'm following through with this, and just like that, gradually, a structure will be created, and you'll be able to take advantage of all the opportunities that are out there. So yeah, hopefully, we've done so much today.
Yeah, hopefully we've done some talks. But
So
I'm still enjoying the cool evening, because
yeah,
I feel we can still talk more on how SMEs can just get more structures
sure.
of creating opportunities
That's why we're
for
here.
themselves. You know, for these SMEs, they are very, very important, and we don't joke with them. They are the key people that makes the economy to grow, and they are people that, with their consistent rate of work and hard work and productivity, the economy tends to stable, and what there's a minimal standard of living amidst the people. You know, the SMEs and entrepreneurs are people that are highly creative. You don't joke with them.
How many people do you think are really saying, okay, I am enjoying to be an SME entrepreneur in Nigeria present right now?
That depends on the kind of opportunities they get. You know, opportunities created and opportunities gotten are different things. We already spoke about this, and I urge you to watch it to the last episode. You're going to get that a lot. I'm sure you're going to learn from that. So, and you know, SMEs that might take opportunities are not being, like, opportunities needs to just be gotten. That you can't create opportunity. They might miss it wrong there. You know, you can start something and feel you don't want to
Yeah,
create a space for it.
I understand what you're saying, but what asking is, I'm asking, like, currently right now, the way the economy is right now, double inflation and everything, and of course we know things are trying to get stable. Like, I'm saying, like, how many SMEs do you think are really battling the storm right now? Now, not to talk about now opening themselves for those opportunities out there. Like, how many SMEs do you think are really putting their legs on their boots on ground right now? Or how many do you think are even pulling out?
You know, I may not be able to put an estimated or accurate estimate figure to that. But you know, one thing I've always admired about SMEs is, no matter what they do, when an SME kick off something, they tend to do it with their whole passion. So if you're telling me that how many SMEs, I want to assume that about, let me just say, about 60% SMEs in Nigeria are doing this. You know, it's not going on easy for them, but there are people that they have to survive, because what they do is they work for themselves. Every SME work for themselves. They don't work for someone. They work. So because you work for yourself, you have to create that space. You have to create that means of livelihood.
And shout out to this new tax law that has been able to break down
Yeah, yeah, bring
didn't
them
break
some
down
sense
their
of
neck.
what,
Yes, give
yeah,
them some sense of
takes off some
relief.
tax burdens
Exactly,
off their back, and giving
exactly.
them some brains
Yeah.
space.
I think that will go a long way to push SMEs to push a lot of people, though, to start creating their own business, you know, push a lot of entrepreneurs out there in the field to see what market or what value they would like to bring out, you know.
Yeah, and even this new tax law is also helps you to create a structure for yourself, because for you to be able to enjoy some benefits it brings, you have to open your business in a rightful way, with the incorporated authorities. Your business is to be incorporated. You need to have your CAC documents, your members, and things like that for you to be able to enjoy it. So even in fact, for you to enjoy the credit eligibility of it, you have to put a structure in place. So
Definitely.
these are opportunities that the government has created now. So as an SME, if you're smart enough, you put a structure in place for your business to benefit from these things.
Okay, so like so much to say, so much to say, so much to say. But I'm just glad that we've been able to unpack a lot today. And I believe some of the conversation we've really shared like are really impactful conversations that a lot of SMEs, and like I said earlier, I hope this particular I've been able to sort out a lot of the questions that you asked, and those are some of the questions that you asked that I've touched on, and I hope we're able to throw more light on it. But in any case, we'll still be talking more on this. We'll still be having more conversation. We are always here. We are doing what we do on trying to talk about how we can push SME brand out there. And, you know, because it's not easy, but we know we can always do it.
Yeah, it's not easy at all, and
Yeah.
every SME is important to us.
Yes. So, this is our conversation. Let's keep talking until we see you again. But in the meantime, you can subscribe, you can like, and you can share. Yeah, I'll see you on the next episode.